New Artist Spotlight Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the New Artist Spotlight Podcast. I am Yorkshire's answer to Busta Rhymes, Wilko Wilkes, and we should be joined by Origin Cross as well, but he is currently having some issues with a very small person causing absolute havoc. So we'll see if he comes on, but until then, we'll meet another guy who causes absolute havoc. Welcome to the show, Chvrli Blvck. How are you doing?
Hey, good, man. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to have you on, man.
Causing havoc from my childhood bedroom.
Is that where you are?
Yeah.
Very
Yes.
nice, man. Is that just, have you come back specifically for the podcast, or do you live there?
No, I moved back, like literally just after COVID.
Right. And now you're stuck.
Wonderful breakups towards the end of COVID, which
Right.
I'm sure we'll chat about, you know.
And have you still got the Helder Postiga poster on your wall, or?
No, there's fortunately just plain white walls.
Right. Okay, very nice. So yeah, man, I mean, I'm very familiar with your music and I'm a fan, mate. It's the sort of music I really like to listen to in my day-to-day, like, spare time. I love the sort of real rawness of your vocals and the
Awesome. Thank you, man.
absolute, like, you really give it some welly, man.
A little bit of passion. A little bit of passion goes a long way when you kind of don't technically know how to play an instrument. Just a hell of a lot of trial and error.
Believe me, I'm on that boat as well. Yeah, just cover all the cracks. Yeah, just really give it some and see what happens. So, for anyone who doesn't know about your music, yeah, give us a lowdown on yourself as an artist.
So I guess I kind of write about stuff that matters to me, as opposed to like I'm trying to write cool songs, cool rock songs. It's almost like public therapy in a weird way. So it's just kind of it's always been a mechanism to deal with really difficult shit. And it's kind of got to a point where it's good enough to share with other people. And I can go, hey, here's me, all naked and stuff. Please love me. Everyone, love me.
Please. Yeah, I know that feeling.
That's kind of the vibe.
It's brilliant, though. Yeah, it's really good, man. It's absolutely sensational, I'll say. Some of it, like,
thank you.
Please, everything. You've been kicking all the top 20 records into touch as well.
It's very cool. It's very unexpected. I've really enjoyed, like, diving into this random, what initially at least appeared to be like a Canadian music group that I was recommended by a girl in Spain, and then happened to meet a bunch of Brits.
It's madness, man, isn't it?
It's been really cool. Like, actually finding a little supportive community. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, man. And I'd like to meet up with some of the other Brits in NAS sometime as well. There's been talk of some sort of British meetup, and I believe you've already met a member of NAS. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, indeed. I've met Mr. Charlie Smith. The other slightly, not quite as cool Charlie, but he's a good guy.
No, he's not as cool as you, man. He's not. We had him on the show, so I spoke to
Charlie. You see, back up, mate, back up.
I'm only joking. He's really cool. He's much cooler than me.
He's a really, really good guy. He's obviously, having fairly recently moved back here, I haven't gigged. I mean, I hadn't gigged in general since like pre-COVID. And then having come back and realised, all right, I don't know anyone here anymore. So it's kind of like starting from zero. And Charlie, especially in Southampton, is kind of the guy that seems to gig like every 2 minutes, knows everyone. So I'm kind of trying to just grab onto his coattails and paddle on along behind him.
Use him. Yeah.
Use him.
Yeah, no, that's
mutual support.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Before you can cast him aside and become the king of Southampton yourself. Yeah, no, he's
never, surely not.
I think he's worked hard at doing that as well. Like, I feel like a few months ago, he wasn't really doing that, or he was starting like his first open mic night, and then since then he's just snowballed and he's doing all sorts now. And like I say, he seems to know everybody in Southampton now.
It's very, very cool. I don't know. It's kind of inspiring in a way because he's a lot younger than me as well. He's in his kind of mid-20s and it's just flying. It's very, very
How old are you, Charlie?
I'm 33.
Right, okay, I'm 34, so we're a similar generation. So I should have gone for Stefan Everson and not held up Postiga.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I know. The rust's starting to set in.
The rust. The accuracy of that is fucking painful. It's like, oh, that hurt. What did you do?
Yeah.
I stood up.
When you just got to stop going to the doctor because you just get used to. You're just like, yes, it's just going to be with me for the rest of my life. That
everything will be fine. I'll just creak.
yeah, it'll work out. So, how long have you been doing music, and how long have you been an artist?
It's hard to say with an artist because I've always felt like it's really hard. Like, I don't know, you meet someone and it's like, so what do you do? And the immediate thing that you're supposed to say is like, well, I'm a gardener. I work in a shop. I do whatever your work is, kind of thing. Saying like, I'm an artist, but I make no money out of it. It's kind of difficult. So I don't know. It's difficult to not sound like a knob when you say it, but I kind of feel like I've always been an artist. It's always been a thing, a way of, like, all of this is really fucking weird. Trying to find a way to like understand it and deal with it and break it down, I think has always been a thing. So it would have been like drawing or just singing random stuff. So I think I've always sort of had it as a need, just as a way of making sense of stuff and dealing with stuff. But in terms of it being like a craft, as much as I can call hitting a guitar a craft, I guess it would have been like around 15, because I was a like exceedingly geeky kid, like painfully geeky, and like talking to girls was the most terrifying thing in the world. And so I was like, guitar.
Yeah, this will make me cool.
So it was from about 15 on, I really started going for it. And I guess about 17-ish would have been when I first started gigging and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so there's been waves of focus. There'll be some times when I've been really, really focused on it and was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna be a rock star at 25, man. And then life does life stuff and etc.
What are you drinking there? Baileys?
No, I'm drinking a pint of tea, my friend.
Oh, all right, okay.
A straight German Stein full of tea.
Is it hot? Are you sure that's a German Stein? Because it looks like what's that place called? The Swedish place.
The Swedish place. That's reasonably vague. If I have
IKEA. It looks like an IKEA.
IKEA. It might be. It is.
I'm sure I've got the same one.
It is.
No, see, don't tell me that's German. Come on. Let's keep it to the truth, please.
All right. I apologise.
Shocking, honestly. So did it work then? Did you picked up a guitar, suddenly the ladies started knocking?
I wouldn't go that far. I think in my head more so than in reality. I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of a cheat code if you're quite a quiet, shy person, because it gives you an opportunity to have really... I know people say like, oh my God, it must be really scary to go on stage. But like communicating with a person one-on-one when you haven't had like 5 years to prepare what you're going to do is in a way more difficult than like, okay, I'm going up and doing this thing that I know what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really interesting way of looking at it, man.
It's like a weird, anxious situation to put yourself in and not be anxious, which I guess was a good way of like showing yourself.
You kind of know that you're going to smash it.
I mean, to a degree, yeah. I think once you've done it a couple of times and people are like, holy shit, you're actually not crap. Yeah. Then you might be super unconfident in like day to day, but there's a little underlying cockiness there, which is quite good.
Yeah, I like that, man. That's really good. I kind of felt that way myself when I started out. But then I think you get to the point where people expect the people kind of know what to expect when they see you play. So it's a bit like,
You need to innovate.
yeah, then there gets a little bit of pressure on you. And then I'm like, oh, you know, I've got to be good here as well as just kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I'm still at the point where I've done absolutely bugger all. So people are still getting surprised.
Hey, you've got some quality tunes on Spotify. How many tunes have you got, like, total?
In terms of written or just on Spotify?
Both.
So on Spotify, there's like, I think there's like 6, and one of them's just an acoustic version of the same song. But in real life, like novels and novels and novels worth. Many.
That's cool.
Because as I say, there's been short little bursts where I've been very focused on actually pushing music out there, and very long not bursts of doing absolutely nothing and kind of completely losing any sense that it might be something possible. So,
but you write a lot of songs during those times.
Oh god, yeah. There's huge amounts. Like my OneDrive is borderline ridiculous. It's the scribblings of a mad person.
That's good, man. That's what I like to hear.
I kind of subscribe to the whole give a monkey a typewriter.
Yeah.
Away. Eventually, some good stuff comes out.
This is why you should be uploading it all, man, because there might be one in there that's like the next Bohemian Rhapsody.
It's coming. Don't worry. It's coming. Progress is appearing. I literally got out of the studio on Friday, and I've got 3 more down. So we've got tunes for the next few months.
Oh, class. Where did you record? Did you record in a professional studio?
Yeah, it was a place called River Studios in Southampton.
Right.
It was a decent spot. Really, really decent.
Oh, nice one, man. So do you produce your own stuff, or do you leave that to the engineers?
I leave that to clever people.
Really good sounding, man.
Write and sing, but that's kind of about the limit of my expertise. I kind of sort of half-assedly tried to learn production several times, but it never sounds like it does in my head, or like when I just play it, if that makes sense. So I just figure, I mean, this might just be justification for being bone idle about it, but I'm not going to spend 15 years learning Ableton or Logic or whatever. So why not let someone who's done that and will inevitably just be better at that than me sort of stay in your lane?
Yeah, that's really wise. I've started to produce my own stuff, and I don't know. I think with me, I'm the opposite. Like every time I have it engineered by somebody else, it comes back. I'm like, it doesn't quite sound how I pictured it to do it. I like being able to kind of manipulate it myself so that it can come out how I envisaged it. But I think the more complicated projects that I start working on, the more I'm realizing that my tool sets are still very limited, and I get halfway through and I'm like, maybe I just
find it really, really difficult so like a producer will happily sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to spend 30 minutes picking this snare sound. And I'm like, no.
Always the snare. Yeah, I'm saying, I'm just like, yeah, it's just any old snare.
It is too.
Yeah, just stick a bongo in there, it'll be fine. So we're going to play one of your tunes today. Which do you want to tell us about it?
So we're playing one called "Why Did You Go," which relates very much to how I started saying about this, moving back home, moving back from London after a breakup, and the song pretty much. So I wrote it literally as like letting agent was showing people around my flat, and I was busily like slowly selling all of the objects that myself and my former partner had kind of filled the place with. So everything was kind of sort of emptying out. And it was it was basically just kind of an account of that. It's not a situation I'd ever really been in before. Like I've been through breakups and stuff, but not to the degree where you were like taking apart a home. So it's very much about that experience.
That's poignant, man.
The physical experience of it, if that makes sense.
And did she hear it? Did she hear the song? Give you
No, I haven't spoken to her. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think it's like a really nice song, and it's not like nasty or anything.
You don't think she'll watch this?
Well, I don't know.
Get in touch and say, Charlie.
Depends if you get me some sweet coverage, man.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah. Maybe she's already in it.
If I'm going to share my lovely, poignant song, I at least want to do it from a position of power.
We can do that, mate. I'll ring Jonathan Ross, see what he's up to, see if he's got any space. Yeah, that'd be ideal.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, do you want to do the honours of introducing it then?
Yeah, sure. This is called Why Did You Go? People are already walking in my house, and she's gone, 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 gone. Feels weird letting go, too fast, moving slow. The furniture walks itself outside to someone else's home. The house empties out around me like smoke from the bellows. Why did you go? Why did you go? People are already walking in my house. Used to be ours, and I put a lot of hours into making it ours. While you were wondering about leaving, shut it down, better now. I better go quiet. A better ground down a floor. Better always stop into bother. Phone into a pen and fried. I'm like my brain was your drugs. I feel like scrambled eggs gone hard, and you still serve me up. Why did you go? Why did you go? Saw you waving at the window, watching you go home.
Thank you for letting us play that, my friend. What a track. It was, you're just a beast, man. You're a machine. I don't know how you do it.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You're a beastly machine. I need to hear a lot more Chvrli Blvck tracks, man. I don't want to see 6 on your Spotify anymore. I want to see like 60.
It's coming. It's coming. Like, it is underway. I've finally got to the point where I guess my focus, mental health, and level of sobriety have all lined up.
As if by magic.
Give me enough motivation. And like, let's face it, I'm not paying rent, which is incredibly helpful for having the time and space to actually do something.
So is music, do you have a job, or is music like your full-time?
Yeah, I work, so I do content writing stuff and content management stuff.
Oh, nice.
Which is
freelance.
good. Like, actually, yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, that's good.
I've done, I don't know, triple figures, numbers of various jobs. PAYE does not agree with my constitution. I need to be working when I decide to work, basically, be that at like 2 a.m. or whatever. It's kind of need the control over it, or it just starts out very well and quickly peters out.
I wish that was, yeah. I feel like I'm built the same, but I do work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and it's always a struggle getting out of bed in the morning. But
it is just, and in terms of like wanting to do something creative on top of that, it's just incredibly difficult. Like, I worked as a gardener for, I guess, about 5 years, initially self-employed and then working for a company in London. And like, I feel like, I mean, irregardless of it being physical or mental work, like if you're in an office or whatever, you get home at the end of the day and it's like, right, I need to relax and like recharge now, rather than like I get home and right, now I need to further my music career.
yeah, man.
It's a lot easier for me to motivate myself from a position of not having to do that at the moment.
Yeah, I bet, man. I bet. I feel like I'm constantly on the edge of burnout, like, because I do a lot of music stuff in the evenings, and I'm a bit of like, my natural nature is to be a night owl. Like, if I could just live my own hours, I'd probably get up at about midday every day, and then I'd be up until somewhere between 3 and 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it's just awkward that society seems to run on a schedule that doesn't fit with a lot of people, and I think a lot of creative people as well. Because I find, I don't know, you'll be lying in bed tapping away, endlessly scrolling bullshit or whatever, and a little idea will appear. It's like 1:30, and then suddenly it's 4 a.m. and you're like, oh my God, I've made something really cool. But if I did that and then had work in the morning, I'd be screwed for like half a week or something.
Yeah, it's awful. I've taken on this Rap for Good thing as well. I don't know if you've seen anything.
Yeah, I saw it. Sounds really, really cool, man.
It's been good, man. I just did the first session today. But that, again, it means like I spent yesterday kind of planning for it and doing slides and preparing like info packs and sheets and all sorts of like paperwork and admin and stuff like that. And then this morning I was out of the house at like 8:30 in the morning. I didn't go to bed till like 1:30 last night, and then I was out at 8:30. I was working with kids all day until like 3, and then I come back and I've got a load of other stuff to do on the back of that. Plus, then I've got this podcast, which is obviously a pleasure. But then before I know it, it's Monday again.
Obviously a pleasure.
yeah. Before I know it, it's like it's going to be 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and I'll be logged on again, and my weekend's just gone. Like,
yeah, man.
There was no.
It is hard.
The time to relax because you're trying to pedal, and I'm not gonna, like, the obvious thing people will say to me is like, "Well, you know, you could always just give up the music." Like, yeah, that's the last thing that I want to do.
Like, that would be nice to be able to do, you know?
Yeah, I'm like, no, I want to give up work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it pays the bills, apparently, unfortunately.
Needs must.
Yeah.
There's a will, there is a way, man. It looks like you're making like a huge amount of progress in a fairly short space of time.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm getting there. Well, it's just relentless, but it's the way it's got to be. Like you say, where there's a Wilkes, there's a way.
Yes, mate. Yes. Album title.
Yeah, maybe.
Good stuff.
That's got to be the next one.
In fact, I can see that on a t-shirt. That's pretty sweet.
Do you want to sort it out for me, please?
Yeah. Okay. Let's say yeah.
Enough about me, anyway, man. How many gigs do you think you've played in total in your whole life?
I mean, not a huge amount, to be quite honest. There was a time where I was gigging a lot, sort of, I guess, like 2016, 17. I'd got into a position where I'd recorded a bunch of songs, got myself a manager.
Nice.
Probably shouldn't go too much into the details of how that all kind of fell to bits, but that all fell to bits. At which point, kind of gigging and stuff basically stopped for multiple years. So, I don't know, not 100, but like getting on for that, which is very, very little when you think about like.
It's also a lot, yeah. It's all
15 years or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not that easy though, and I find it a bit of a. You put a lot into a gig, don't you? It's like there's the anxiety before, and then there's the come down afterwards, or it's like it's not just
that's the difficult thing. I think that'd be a really, really difficult thing about like if you go on a proper tour,
yeah,
you can see where there's a lot of stories about artists just getting burnout or like passing out on stage or just not being able to do a gig one night because like one, my voice isn't particularly well trained, so like at the end of a gig, like you say, I kind of go for it. So at the end of the gig, you're like barely speaking anyway.
yeah.
And then you're hype, so you're up until stupid o'clock, and then you've got another one the next day. I've only done it a few times, and it is very, very, very difficult not to just be exhausted within, I don't know, 4 days, a week.
I agree with you, man.
Really have to develop some staying power.
Yeah, and people get like really angry when like an artist cancels because they've got a sore throat or something like that. People are fuming. They're like giving them a load of Twitter abuse, like, "How dare you? I've paid £50 for this ticket and come up from Cornwall." It's like,
bloody Cornish.
Yeah, Cornish. So you genuinely want this person to go out and just perform with a ragged throat, like
terribly.
Yeah, just completely let down. If it was,
want to come to a bad gig.
Yeah, I demand it. My niece is so upset. Well, she can just go again in August when it's been rescheduled. No, that's not good enough. Yeah, it's crazy. I think when you get to a certain level, though, people stop seeing you as a person and start seeing you as like a commodity or a performing monkey.
Yeah, you just turn into this like symbolic thing. I'm here for it. I'm so ready for it. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, let's get you there, man. I think you can do it. How's it? What's your plans for the future? Like how are you going to get to that next step if you are?
So the thing seems to be having like actually spent a hell of a lot of time looking into and talking with various people. It like Spotify or TikTok or something like that seems to be the way that you kick stuff off. And I tried TikTok for a while and it made me want to poke my eyes out. So I'm 100% focused on basically just getting Spotify numbers up and slowly starting to get Spotify feeding itself. And the thing with that basically seems to be you want a minimum of one single out every 2 months. So I have enough music to just keep releasing every 2 months. And on top of that, just doing the usual. I mean, I know it seems a hell of a lot more difficult than when I previously did it to contact blogs and stuff now, because you'll contact 8 million and like 7,900,000 will get back to you and say, pop on Submit Hub and pay me and maybe I'll consider it.
Yeah.
So it's basically just endless effort. Like I'm spending vast majority of my time doing it and kind of working as little as feasibly around that and just making it the be all and end all.
Do you do any busking?
I haven't for a while. I used to do that quite a lot. I studied in Winchester, and doing busking in Winchester was like lucrative, like legit lucrative.
I bet, man. Yeah, I've been to Winchester as well. I've been there a few times.
As in busking down there?
No, not busking, but my mate lived down there, and I spent like probably about 3 separate weekends there. And yeah, it's affluent, isn't it? It's a nice place. Like
it is.
Bougie.
It's kind of strange as well, because like all the busking, you're really near the cathedral. So
yeah.
People popping out and like you'd get like religious pamphlets and stuff, or people.
And they're all there to see the round table
from God. I'd be like, thanks.
Yeah.
Hear what I'm singing about? Did you hear what I'm singing about?
Here's a message from Chvrli Blvck. Yeah, that's good, man. So so I can see the time has only got about 6 minutes left, and there is one thing that you have not yet faced. Are you aware of what that might be?
I believe it is the Quickfire 5.
The devilish, the dastardly.
Devilish Quickfire 5.
Quickfire 5. That is correct. So without further ado, I'm going to ask you 5 devilishly, dastardly questions, and you'll have no more than 15 seconds to answer each question, or you will be banned and banished to hell for eternity.
Jesus.
Yes,
Ready.
very severe punishments on this show. So question 1 is, what is your favourite song from the New Artist Spotlight playlists?
I think it's The Sum of All Colours. I'm going to try and pronounce his name. Andre Guazzelli or Guazzelli?
Great guy. Mixes, edits this podcast.
Beautiful.
And the
you see,
album.
Tactical choice as well.
Yeah, exactly. Top guy.
No, it's lovely. It's lovely. Like, it's one of those songs that kind of grows on you more and more the more you hear it as well. Just
Agree.
Emotional. Just lovely, emotional.
So question 2 is, who is your favourite artist or band of all time?
Oh, that's really difficult, but I'll say Fiona Apple.
Good answer. I've never even heard of Fiona Apple, but it's a good answer.
Man. Listen
I
to
will do, man. Yeah,
night.
I'm going to write that down.
Every single night. It is insane.
And
she's like a kind of bananas, jazzy, piano-y, just a hell of a voice.
I'm on it, man. I'm on it. Question 3. What's your favourite song of all time?
That is a fucking mad question. Oh, God. I don't know. I'll say There She Goes by the Lars.
I love that song, man.
It's a classic tune.
Honestly, I love that song. Yeah, that's a great tune. That's on my running playlist. And running playlist.
I wouldn't have expected that to come out, but yes, go for the first thing. It's got to be natural.
Yeah, man. That's such a good tune.
Otherwise, I go to hell as well, so I better go on.
Do you do a cover of that?
I don't. I don't do any covers. I've never done a cover, but maybe I should try.
Every time I hear that song, I hear it in my own head, like absolutely sort of screaming. I wish they'd go even bigger on the, like, she calls my name. No, feel my pain. I love that tune, man. It's so good. Well, yeah, you're doing an awesome cover of that. Incredible. You need to cover that song, man.
Nice.
I'm checking up on you. I want to hear it. And question 4, before I digress and get banished to hell. Question 4 is, what song would you like played at your funeral?
I thought about this one. I'm going for the Imperial March from Star Wars.
I like it, man.
That just makes me laugh so much.
Question 4 is, if you could spend a day with any other NAS artist, who would you spend a day with?
I think I'm going to go for Charles Connolly.
You get on, you two.
We're hanging out tomorrow. Going to go meet him tomorrow. So
are you really?
Yeah, man.
For real?
For real.
Oh, mate, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I was going to say, you look like... Serious?
Yeah, I'm really jealous, man. You actually remind me of Charles as well, because you look similar. You sound similar. And you're both insanely talented. So I think you'll get on like a house on fire.
Should be.
But he might throw Simpsons quotes at you as well. So if I'm disappointed actually if he doesn't call you Mr. Black. And I'll send you that video because you should know that.
I will report back if that actually occurs. Imagine that occurs naturally. That would be a wonderful thing.
It might do, man. It might do. And one other question I had for you is, do you like, I think his name is Asif Avijan. Do you know that guy?
Should I?
I don't know. I don't know how niche. I think he might be slightly niche, but he's not super popular, but he's not like super niche either. But he's a singer who kind of reminds me of you. I think I can hear a little bit of his style in your voice, and I wondered what it was like.
No, link me up. Definitely, I'll have a listen.
Yeah, he's amazing, man. He's such a good singer. I'll send it. I'll bombard you with things. Right, that is everything for today's show. Unless you have any last shout outs, or where can people find you?
You can find me at Chvrli Blvck everywhere, but because I'm super cool, I changed the A's to V's and took the E off of Charlie. So it's Chvrli Blvck, CHVRLI BLVCK. Everywhere.
That is edgy.
I know, right? I know.
That's good, man. But to be fair, if you were called just Chvrli Blvck, there's no way anyone would find you on Google or...
Exactly. It's all about the search engine optimization.
This guy knows. Yeah. All right, man. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed it, actually. Nice chat. So, yeah, good luck with everything. And
likewise. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. We'll see you soon. And thank you to everybody listening as well. And everybody commenting.
Yeah, thanks, NAS people.
Yeah, thanks, NAS. Sass. We'll see you all soon.
Sweet. Peace.
Peace out.
New artists.